claim is Trump and Republicans are better for the black community than Democrats.
If you'd like to be the first debater, get to that chair in 3, 2, 1.
Naima, nice to meet you.
Naima,
Yeah.
nice to meet you as well.
Before I do my rebuttal, I would just like to know why you think that.
Well, there's a myriad of reasons. I think that conservative policies are more beneficial to the black community. It's more beneficial to America, which black people are part of America. And I think that policies like limiting immigration or illegal immigration, getting illegal immigrants out of this country, lowering taxes, all benefit black people as a whole. Religious freedom, you name it, every single policy that I can think about that Republicans have implemented, that they stand for, the values they stand for are all better off for black people than Democrats could ever dream of.
He's right. He's right. And he's also right. Nobody think about lowering taxes. I've always talked about this. One of the biggest issues that people have these days today, and it doesn't just benefit black culture in particular, but it benefits everybody, is lowering taxes. I have said this from the rooftop, that lowering taxes is one of the most beneficial things for people in society today. But unfortunately, we live in a democratic we live in a democratic state, Washington State in general, that does nothing but raise taxes and steal taxpayer dollars from the people.
How have you okay. But first of all, religious freedom is not just a Republican policy. I just want
The
that's just in
Republicans
the
are far
Constitution.
more believe in the freedom of religion than Democrats could ever dream of.
I don't want to harp on that.
Democrats
That's in
wanna
the
remove
Constitution. That's just not
religion
true.
from
But
every single aspect of life. No.
But I just want to focus on which one of Trump's policies specifically has been designed to help the black community.
Well, First Step Act has been designed to reverse the effects of over-policing from the past.
He has done that.
The First Step Act, yes, it was.
Okay.
To allow for people who were incarcerated with sentencing for drug dealing
Right.
Correct.
and less violent crimes for them to have some relief. My uncle got out on the First Step Act.
Okay.
Urban revitalization,
Yeah.
injecting money into these inner city communities. Permanent funding for HBCUs, which Barack Obama never did.
Facts.
Donald Trump implemented.
Okay.
I mean, I can go down a list.
Yeah, so
and I think that lowering taxes and all the other benefits that Americans get
Yeah.
is also beneficial to black
So
people.
it's funny because I've watched some of your videos, I've heard these talking points before, and I actually looked into all of these, and there's not a ton of quantitative impact on how those have actually affected just the black community. But let's talk about the Republican Party and Trump and his policies as a whole. Do you think that Trump reposting a video in which one of his supporters screams white power was beneficial to the black community?
I'm not familiar with some video that he posted.
Well, I mean,
video?
you should
What are you
be,
Let's
though.
talk about Democrat policy.
You should be.
Let's
though.
talk about Democrat
no,
policy.
See,
What
no.
Democrat
Now you're
policy?
obfuscating. You are the one who has
It
the burden.
says
No,
He said he's not familiar with it, so why would you continue to instigate it?
right
I'm
here.
sorry. I do not want to be interrupted.
It says right here
I do not want to be
that
interrupted.
Trump and
You are the
Republicans are
one-
better than the Democrat
Yes, exactly.
policies.
So the burden of proof is on
it's not.
you.
In a
Yes.
trial.
No, this is how a
You're-
debate
you-
works.
you are-
You've made
you
a
are
claim
saying
that
that-
you have to substantiate, and you
You're
have yet to
saying
do that.
I am wrong. So how are you correct in that Democrat policies are better than Republican
Well,
policies?
actually, do you want to know my personal
with it.
belief is that the Democrats are fundamentally kind of apathetic to the needs of black people, while Republicans are openly antagonizing the black community.
Give me an example.
So, I mean,
what
an
policy
example.
position is negative towards black people that Republicans implement?
Trump this year intentionally got rid of the disparate impact analysis. So what the disparate impact analysis does is that it analyzes laws that were made neutrally, policies that were intended to be neutral, to make sure that there were not any racial disparities as an effect of that policy, right?
Hold on, let me run that back right quick. I'm trying to freaking run that back.
No, this is how a debate works. You've made a claim
saying
that you have to substantiate, and you
you're
have yet to
saying
do that.
I am wrong. So how are you correct in that Democrat policies are better than Republican
Well,
policies?
actually, do you want to know my personal
with it.
belief is that the Democrats are fundamentally kind of apathetic to the needs of black people, while Republicans are openly antagonizing the black community.
Give me an example.
So, I mean, so
what
an
policy
example.
position is negative towards black people that Republicans implement?
Trump this year intentionally got rid of the disparate impact analysis. So what the disparate impact analysis does is that it analyzes laws that were made neutrally, policies that were intended to be neutral, to make sure that there were not any racial disparities as an effect of that policy, right? Accidentally. So Trump has removed the protection for the disparate impact analysis. So we don't know if the policies that we're enacting are disproportionately hurting the Black community or not.
That's not.
There's no policy that's really affecting the Black community. The only reason why y'all affected is because y'all are affected because of the culture. Yeah. Help me understand or make this make sense, because all I'm hearing is I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's not that doesn't make any sense. Any
It
policy
really doesn't.
I agree.
No, what
It's a
you're
bad
saying
idea.
does not make any sense, because the policies that are implemented,
Yes.
the majority of the ones that are in Congress are agreed upon by the House and the Senate,
Right.
Democrats and Republicans.
Yes.
And so with that being said, there's Black people represented. There's
Yes.
all kind of
Well,
people
that's the
represented in
point.
Yeah.
creating our laws and
I know, but
policies.
that's the point.
So
But
what are you
not
saying that they're
everything-
not considering
But
whether or
here's-
not it has a desperate effect on
So
the Black
here's the
community?
thing. When you create a policy, obviously you are creating it in good faith. But we do not know always how that policy is going to affect the
Give me an
population.
example of a
Can I
policy.
finish talking?
Give me an
please?
example of policy.
But I'm trying to explain to
I'm running
you.
out of time.
So the point of the disparate analysis report is to check to make sure that the laws that we implement in good faith don't end up hurting the Black community by accident.
Clearly, she has not checked no policy whatsoever. All she did was create something that somebody else said, but not have a credible source that has been said. She basically found her information by a non-credible source. That's what happened.
Why would you get rid of that?
Why do you think he got rid of it,
Because
according to
he's
you?
racist.
To say that Donald Trump is racist is the craziest thing I've heard.
Donald Trump.
Have you,
oh
have
my
you,
God.
have
Friend.
you ever met Donald Trump personally?
No.
You don't know him?
No. So
Why
you've
would you
met
say
Donald
I've
Trump.
met Donald Trump several times?
So you're basing his whether or not he's racist
you
just
don't
on
have any
your personal-
evidence. You're saying because he allegedly got rid of some desperate impact analysis that somehow that has something to do with race, and it only affects Black
But
people.
your evidence is anecdotal. Oh, Trump was nice to me one time, therefore he's not a racist.
I have no evidence to
Of
believe
course
that
he's
Trump
nice
is a
to you,
racist.
because you are
Where's the
excusing
evidence that
his
Trump is a racist?
racism. Okay, I'll
Where's
give
it?
you more evidence.
Give me
In
evidence.
1973, his company was sued for violating the Fair Housing Act by openly discriminating
What was
against
the
Black
findings?
renters.
What was the findings of that?
I heard about that one. At the same time. Fair Housing Act has nothing to do with race. Fair Housing Act has something to do with freaking money. It's money related. The reason why Trump was being discriminatory, which I actually have, believe it or not, in my personal opinion, I don't blame him, because why would you you can't just let anybody in these buildings whatsoever. This is like letting a drug addict in a rich freaking neighborhood. Would you do that? This is like allowing a predator in a normal neighborhood full of kids. Does that make any sense? So just because, and I heard about this and I don't even believe it, but I've seen some info, but it's not really credible to know. I don't, I don't, I don't blame him. He never said that doesn't show he's racist. He's just protecting his assets from incompetent people he's protecting his assets, his investment from incompetent people from destroying it, pretty much. Like I said, would you let a fucking predator in your neighborhood full of kids? Would you let a drug addict in your neighborhood full of children? Would you let a drug addict in a neighborhood full of rich people? I'm just asking, because all they're trying to do is find nooks and crannies. Keep this in mind. She wasn't even born around that time. And she's getting this information from who? She wasn't even born around that time. And so many people, and I've had, bro, when I tell you, I had people tell me about stuff even during the time they weren't even born. Nobody still proved that Trump was racist. No one.
He was actually forced to settle.
It was forced to settle.
Yes,
made
he
a
was
decision
forced to settle. No, he had
There
to
was
settle.
no finding of fault.
Why
was it?
would someone settle?
Was it fine?
Hold up. In 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice sued Fred Trump, Donald Trump, and Trump Management Incorporation, alleging violations of the Fair Housing, in the operation of approximately 39 new New York City apartment buildings. The government relied partly on tests in which black applicants were told that no apartments were available, while white applicants were offered units. Yeah, alleging. When it's alleged, it's just not it's not provable facts. That's the problem. Alleging something without showing proof is not really evidence. That's just alleging. You're accusing someone without clear evidence. So how would you even? How is that proving that Trump was racist? I don't get it.
We're not guilty.
You can make it.
Why would someone settle if he wasn't doing it?
Was there a determination?
Keep this in mind. I want you to give you a prime example. As well as accounts from former employees describing racial coding of applications, including a C for color. The Trump denied discrimination retained attorney Roy Cohen and filed a 100-minute counterclaim that was dismissed, and the case was resolved in 1975 through a consent of order without adjudication or admission of liability. So completely, he did not he won, basically. So they falsely accused him of something they didn't do. And this is crazy. So these people really do not have the right mindset. Really don't have the right mindset and still haven't proven how Trump is racist. Fucking idiots.
In court that he was at fault.
Also forced to.
No. Was there a determination in court that he was at fault?
He settled, so they didn't have a determination in court. He got out of it by settling, which is what you do when you are guilty, but you don't want to go to court.
That's not the
Yes,
way
that is exactly what the point of settling is. Yes,
No,
you
it's
settle
not.
out. Yes.
He had a dissent decree, which they agreed that he would implement certain things in his organization. There was no fault granted. They did not prove.
What were the things that he had to implement in his company?
Recruiting. It was a form of it was that
I think you're thinking about a different lawsuit against the Trump administration.
He had to make sure that they have job applications available to minorities.
No, this wasn't about jobs. This was about the Trump Corporation, the real estate. Yes, they violated the Fair Housing Act because
maybe we talking about something different.
Well, there were 2 times he was sued for racism.
I only know of one time.
Yeah, well, you should learn about the other one because it was bad too. Yes.
I don't think you know.
Never trust a chick with a bullnose ring. Especially a black chick with a bullnose ring.
What you're talking about?
I don't think you know.
The dissent decree, which was established, there was no findings of Donald Trump being a racist, and his organization has been without fault.
No, that was.
You cannot find a court document that says that Donald Trump officially discriminated against anybody.
That's true.
He literally marked.
What's your next one?
He literally marked black applicants.
What's your next one? What's your next example of Trump being a racist?
When he reposted the Obamas as monkeys.
Now he did not. He already said that he did not post that.
On February 5th, 2026, Donald Trump's Truth Social account shared a 62-second video pushing 2020 election conspiracy theories that briefly depicted former President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. After initial White House attempts to dismiss criticism as fake outrage, whispered condemnation from civil rights groups, Democrats, and senior Republicans led to the post of being deleted roughly 12 hours later. But keep this in mind, you forgot they also had Caucasian people as monkeys on there too. So guess what? Believe it or not, it doesn't matter what the situation is. It wasn't it really wasn't racist. And believe it or not, they're also monkeys as white. So technically, if you want to talk about racism, you got to look at both sides of the spectrum on that situation.
It was somebody on his staff, and the post wasn't even about that. That was a
Bro,
real.
it was
I thought that post was funny as hell, though.
That was
on
a real.
his
That was a real.
account.
And then when it came out, he denounced it.
Selective outrage, dude.
He said it was wrong.
It was on his account already.
One of the
How
staffers posted it.
Why would one of his staffers even have that?
The White House said the upload was a staff error. It was, and Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that while he approved the initial portion of the video concerning election claims, neither he or nor his staff had reviewed the end before it was published. Hey,
Even if it wasn't
You're
him,
making the
why
post
would
sound
he
like the
not
post was
post it?
about that. It was a meme created by somebody else. And
Are
at the
you
end
really
of the post,
defending depicting black people as
it was a meme created by somebody else. It was actually not him that posted it. It was literally a freaking meme that was created by somebody else, which I still thought was funny.
monkeys? Like, that's crazy.
and Hillary
That's
Clinton
crazy.
and Hillary Clinton was
Oh,
a,
and now
was
you're
a
gonna point
pig,
it-
and it was all kind of people depicted as animals. It
Yeah.
wasn't just about Barack Obama. Did Donald Trump
Has
make the video?
any other president done that
Did Donald
ever?
Trump make the video?
Has any other president done
No,
that
no,
ever?
you're blaming him. Did Donald Trump make the video?
I don't know if he made it, but
No,
it
he
doesn't
did
matter.
not.
It's about
Did
what
he
he
denounce?
posts.
She said she don't know.
Did he denounce what that represented?
If I posted something that said "kill all of X people," that's
So-
what I
no, no,
believe,
no, it's-
right?
it's not true.
Even if
Somebody-
I didn't type it out,
That's not
and
true.
Put it in Canva
If you-
and then post
if
it.
somebody
it's
posted,
still what I
if-
believe.
If somebody posted some offensive on your account and you denounce it, is that a fair statement to say you don't believe in that?
No, I don't think that's true. I would like to be held accountable. If somebody,
he said he didn't believe
if I
it.
hired someone to post on my behalf and they posted racist statements,
And you said- and
that
you-
would
I'm
be
gonna
on
have to
me.
And you
pause
took it
here.
down,
No.
I
and
have
you
to
told
pause
them,
here.
I'm sorry.
and you said to the world, you don't believe that to be
Officer
true.
Tatum,
No,
we
no.
have to pause here. All right, you have been voted out by the majority. Thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time.
Dan.
Because she couldn't stand up for people. That's why she couldn't back her claims, and everything she was pulling out of her little book was uncreditable and uncredible. But at the same time, she was nowhere near. Boy, she couldn't get any proof behind her claims. Like, seriously. This is the pure definition of do your research before you make these egregious claims. Because if you do your research, you probably wouldn't be on this platform embarrassing yourself at the same time.
If you would like to be the next debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, how you doing?
So, I'd like to talk about Trump and the Republicans, not specifically on Trump, but focusing upon the history of the Republican Party because he's just the latest iteration of that, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, the Republican Party has a proven track record of giving platforms to sellouts who promote a message that harms black people.
Who
And
is
I'll
that?
give you an
Who is the
example.
sellout that you give me an example?
Well, there are actually quite a few, but I'll start with the
Well, hold on, let's
earliest
start with this
example.
premise. The first black legislators,
Right.
or the first black people in Congress, House of
Right.
Representatives, were all Republicans.
That is what fact. That is a huge fact.
Right. So let me explain that to you.
Is
So-
that a fact pattern?
Right, yes. So basically what happened is the last of the radical Republicans, which was a segment of the Republican Party that
Keep this in mind. Radical Republicans came from Caucasian people. They came from Caucasian liberals, white liberals, but Caucasian liberals created radical Republicans. So if he had the mind to think of it for himself, he wouldn't have even said that in the first place. So that lets me know he doesn't have a mind to think for himself.
passed the 14th Amendment, all of the amendments that gave black people the right to vote and ensured that slaves would not be disenfranchised. He died in August 11.
No. Black people, I mean,
Right,
Republicans
let me explain.
unanimously voted.
He died in
Re-
1868 when the
Republicans-
14th Amendment was passed.
The
And then guess
Republicans
what?
as a whole
Right.
voted unanimously.
No.
The Democrats did not.
Right, but guess what? After the radical Republican faction left Congress,
Radical Republican, that's
yes,
not- that's the-
they are.
you
They
make
were.
that up.
They were a historic. No. That's
He
a
did.
title. They were
who
historic.
was the radical Republican
they
faction?
They were a segment of the Republican Party
Who?
that
Name
that
one.
Thaddeus Stevens. He's an example. They are the ones who created the Freedmen's Bureau, which was designed to assimilate ex-slaves into the national citizenry. After they left, the Republican Party constructed an oligarchy, which we called the Gilded Age, and in which we saw the fate of black people decline. Black home ownership decline.
That is
Fact check: the radical Republicans were a faction of the Republican Party during the Civil War and Reconstruction committed to abolishing slavery and securing civil and political rights, including voting rights for black men. They did not disappear in 1868, although their influence declined during the early 1870s. Some remained active into the mid 1870s. So at the same time, this dude here is getting embarrassed while he's getting fact checked at the same time. This is so hilarious.
Black voting declined.
I hope they fact check you on
all
this.
of that.
The
They
Republicans
fact-checked
unanimously
the
voted.
fuck out of
No,
them.
not after
Let me-
that.
Let me fit. The Republicans unanimously voted for the 13th, 14th, and 15th
Yes,
Amendment.
under the leadership of the radical Republicans.
No.
During the Guild Age, the Republican Party increasingly emphasized industrial growth and business-friendly policies, but the destruction of black voting rights in the South was carried out principally by white Democratic governments and allied white supremacist groups through the violence, intimidation, fraud, and disenfranchising laws, aided by federal retreat and restrictive Supreme Court rulings.
And they
The
were
Republicans
progressives.
unanimously voted for the Civil Rights
Yes,
Act.
and then after
No.
the radical
They did, and the Democrats refused to vote for the Civil Rights Act because they know they didn't want to abolish slavery. This is the same reason why Abraham Lincoln got shot. Because Abraham Lincoln was the one that tried to free the slaves in the first place. Juneteenth was never supposed to be Juneteenth to begin with. Juneteenth was supposed to be approximately on January 1st. That's when the slaves were freed.
Republicans left, they stopped doing that.
When did the radical Republicans leave? You saying the radical Republicans?
1868, the last person
1860.
died.
That's
Yes.
not true.
It is 100% true.
Because
Now,
the
but wait.
Republicans.
Historical estimates also indicate that black home ownership rose overall from about 8% in 1870 to 24% in 1910, despite severe discrimination.
Let me get back to what I was saying. Let me get back to what I was saying.
Did Republicans unanimously vote for the Civil Rights Act?
You're bulldozing and you're steamrolling.
Republicans did not vote unanimously for the landmark Civil Rights Act in 1964, while a higher percentage of Republicans voted in favor of the bill than Democrats. A significant minority of the GOP opposed it in the House. About 80% of the Republicans, 138 to 34, supported the measure, and in the Senate, 82% of the Republicans, 27 to 6, voted for final passage.
Because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Let's quantify that point.
Listen, brother.
Did Republicans
listen to
unanimously
what I
vote
have
for
to
the
say?
Civil Rights Act?
Listen to what I have to
Why
say
won't you
that
answer
you
that
can
question?
respond to it, okay?
Why won't you answer that question?
Booker T. Washington was fated by the white racist establishment. He had tea at Windsor Castle by Queen Victoria. He met Susan B. Anthony. He was allowed to create the Tuskegee Institute because he was promoting this myth of personal responsibility,
It wasn't
which
a
harms
myth.
black people.
The most
Yes,
successful,
it is.
documented
No.
black
No.
man who lifted so many black people from poverty to success was Booker T. Washington.
No,
The Tuskegee
he did
Institute
not. Jim Crow
was incredible for black success in
the
America.
institutionalization of Jim Crow was a direct result of his false
No, it's
message.
not. What was his false message?
His message
Personal
was that
responsibility?
black people were not fit to participate in the political process.
not true.
Because slavery had set them backwards.
Where do
and
you
so
see
all of
that
the
Booker
black
I don't know where he's getting all this stuff from, but let's see what the fact check said. That the statement that Booker T. Washington called black people unfit to participate in political process because slavery has set them backward is not an authentic sentiment or quotation from his 1901 autobiography. up from slavery. Washington did not claim that Black Americans were racially incapable of political participation. Indeed, he supported voting and opposed racially unequal suffrage restrictions.
Washington mentions
Congressman,
that.
it's in his book.
You saying he mentioned that black people were not fit to
Yes,
participate
that is
in
the whole
No, it's
thesis
not.
The thing
of Up from Slavery.
No,
The thing about Booker T. Washington, and he said it himself, there's people that's gonna always remain victims, and there's people that's gonna elevate themselves to a higher altitude when it comes to success. The problem with that was, and he literally stated this correctly back in the day, that preferably in society, for the Black community in general, people in my skin color, there are people that are going to continue to become victims and they will never succeed in life. And there were people who are going to become successful that separates themselves from that community that will always have more success than others. Pretty much. That's in my words, but that's exactly what he said, but it's in my own words. However, he advocated a gradual strategy centered on vocational education, economic independence, property ownership, and character, believing that fuller civil and political rights would follow over time. W.E.B. Du Bois, I don't know why they say Du Bois, but it's Dubois, condemned this accommodationist. Damn, I can't believe that. Dubois. This accommodationist approach, arguing that postponing political and civil rights demands helped hastened disfranchisement and legally enforce racial inequality. When I look at that word Dubois, I swear it's like, yeah, but the only reason why I'm looking at that word Dubois, because honestly, and from what I know in my family history, I have a person, well, great grandfather in my family tree named Etienne Dubois, originally from France. So the two names are spelled differently though.
Did you read the book?
I did not read the book.
There you go. Then you don't know what you're talking about.
I know other.
Let me tell you something, brother. I am a
But the fact checks is correcting everything he's saying at the same time, which he's looking stupid.
history teacher.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
I teach in the public school system.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
You are uneducated.
Let me finish what I'm saying. You cannot
you don't
teach
know
in the
what
public
you're
school
talking
system
about.
if you're telling me that Republicans did not unanimously vote for the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment and the Civil Rights Act.
You are being given
You cannot tell me you're a teacher
as a
if you are
token,
not, and you do not understand.
You are
Wait,
lying
guys,
about
do
the
not
historical
talk over each
record.
other. We can't hear anything either you were saying.
He's not allowing me to make a single point.
Because I'm making points.
No, because you're afraid.
Of what?
Of the truth.
I just explained to you.
When you
Why can't
earn a living off of lies, you are afraid of the truth.
Give me a lie that I've told.
The idea that Republican policies benefited black people, and that is not true.
I just gave you Republican policies.
No, let me give you an example.
Give me examples that they've hurt black people.
The Republican policies not only benefited black people, but it benefited everybody. I don't understand whether this guy is dumb.
I'll give you an example. During the Hoover administration, 43% of the black people who were employed in domestic work. And the reason for that is because they were shut out of truly gainful employment. And the segment who was hurt the most were black men. Black women could get jobs as maids and things of that sort, but black men, any job that gave them the opportunity for social dignity, value, and worth, they were systematically denied, and a lot of it had to do with Booker T. Washington's message. Now,
not true, because personally, when people was free from slavery, honestly, when they were picking cotton, you would not believe that most of those people who, after being free from slavery, they went back to still pick cotton. That's a given fact.
Guess what?
Booker T. Washington's message
has been harmful.
That I have.
You have not read the book.
I've read portions of his message.
No, read the whole book.
I will read the whole book. But you cannot sit here and tell me that Booker T. Washington's message was
It
disenfranchising
hurt
to
black
black people.
And guess what?
That's not true.
Guess what he acknowledges in his book?
So the Tuskegee Institute was detrimental to black people.
Guess what he said?
No. Was the Tuskegee
Yes, it was.
Institute
And let me tell
detrimental
you
to black
why.
people?
He acknowledged that
is
the
insane.
people in Tuskegee, Alabama, the white community there, only allowed him to create that institute because he assured them he would not be teaching them anything that would lift them out of domestic status, anything that pertained to higher education, any knowledge of their history, or just the humanities, anything that white people took for granted in normal universities. It was designed to keep black people oppressed. That was the point.
Up from slavery. Booker T. Washington had a message of black success and personal accountability and responsibility.
And it's
he
a
did
lie.
not
And it's a
depend
lie.
on the government to do the things that black people could already do.
Yes, he did deny on the
That
government.
is a
He
fact.
did not.
Yes, he
did
did.
not make his mission and his plan to
Yes,
say
he
that
did.
black people should depend on the government.
This is the
That's
lie
a fact.
for everybody who is listening to me. The lie is
The only reason why black people rely on the government today is because Caucasian people did it first. They were jealous of Caucasian people doing it. So believe it or not, black women decided to sell off their husbands to get government assistance. They were willing to sell off their family to get government assistance.
that black people should focus solely upon family and their
Till this day, this is why there's still 13% of the population.
economic status and ignore agitations
It's
for
not
social
ignoring, it's
social equality.
prioritizing.
No,
It's
and he actually
prioritizing
says
the family,
he actually says in that
personal
book
responsibility.
that agitations for social equality are the extremist folly because black people are not prepared to be social equals to white people. He actually says that
That's
has
not-
been the
that's not a
program of the
pejorative.
Republican Party ever since
First
then.
of all, that's a lie.
And now, guess what else
That's a
happened?
lie.
So, after
Why did the Democrats have, until Cory Booker recently, had the longest filibuster against the Civil Rights Act?
Exactly? That's a good question.
I'll tell you
The
why.
longest in history,
So basically, what
besides the
happened
recent one.
is prior to that act, there were a number of Dixiecrats who were the inheritors.
Racist Democrats.
I'll tell you, the
Racist
inheritors
Democrats.
of slavery, chattel slavery, and then the Jim Crow era that
Racist
took its
Democrats.
place. Guess what? After those acts, the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act were passed,
Unanimously
guess
by
what?
Republicans.
There was a 20 to 30% shift away from the Democratic Party into the Republican Party. And then, surprisingly, Nixon begins his war on drugs, which is a part of his law and order program. And guess what happens? Black people become 6 to 7 times higher to be arrested for drug abuse versus white people. They are mass incarcerating us, and it is directly tied to Republican policy.
No, it's
Okay, we
not.
have to
Let me-
pause here. We have to pause here. You have been voted out by the majority. Thank you so much.
You know something is phenomenal. They talk about Nixon, but I do believe Richard Nixon. I might be wrong, but Richard Nixon was the one who put Black History Month in February, and I believe he was Republican. I could be wrong, but I do believe Richard Nixon was the one who put in the Black History Month, who implemented Black History Month. Just saying. But I'm only going to do this much of a video. I'm not going to do the full video because I don't want to get tagged by Jubilee. If they do, then unfortunately, I'm going to have to take it down. But this was actually pretty good. I'm going to watch the rest of this video while I'm off here. But, dude, Officer Tatum was getting it. I almost said Channing. Officer Tatum was going off, though. He was really dropping some bombs and some facts into this play. And these people don't know what the hell they're talking about. At the end of the day, there'll always be victims and there'll always be successful people who decide to separate themselves from the culture. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below.